The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, the Halcyon, the ship that was going to make such a huge difference in Disney vacationing, whether it be staying at the resort itself, going out to the parks, it was all about the adventure. But now it looks like the Galactic Starcruiser is hitting a bit of a snag. You may have seen some of those headlines talking about how guests are canceling left and right. To be very clear, it is true. Guests are indeed canceling their reservations at the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, but let's talk about why it's happening and what Disney can do to make the Halcyon more of a success in the future, and perhaps even other resorts like it that they're thinking about an even greater success. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser first was announced to so much fanfare. So many of us were so excited to step on board the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, we now know it as the Halcyon, and experience a Star Wars adventure ourselves. The idea is that basically we are living the movie. Not the fact that we're watching it, we are living it. There was so much excitement, so many concept arts that really had all of our imaginations rolling. And then Disney got to a point, and they're just about done at this point, where they can showcase some of what is actually going to be happening on board. Now that we know more about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, we know that it's a 2-night experience, and you start your day on day 1 at 1 p.m. So basically it's a half a day on the first day, and then you get a full day on the second, but more than half of it's spent at Hollywood Studios, and then you depart on the third. And for many, the price tag of up to $6,000, and definitely more for other things that you can add on, just doesn't make it worth it. I think this is the perfect starting point to talk about what Disney can improve with the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, and that's the itinerary. If Disney had said with the itinerary, we're not going to go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, we're just going to stay on board the Halcyon, I don't think any single person would complain. I don't think a single person would complain. And I think that's where it comes to kind of a disconnect here where, let me tell you, Batuu is amazing. I love going. But if I'm paying this premium, I want to do the premium things the entire time. That's play at the Sublight Lounge or go with a special dining experience. I don't want to spend a majority of the full day doing something that I could have done any other day for a $100 ticket. That's me, and I think that many other guests probably feel the same way. Some of the really winning aspects to the Halcyon are the adventures that you get to go on, whether it's fixing something around the ship, we don't really know too much about that, but we have seen some concept art, or transporting to and from the ship itself, or going to the bridge. Now, we saw some video footage of the bridge itself, and to be honest, it looks a tiny bit underwhelming. The bridge looks cool, but what you do on the bridge looks extremely basic. It just looks like, standard stuff. We've seen it before. You play this little game and you shoot these TIE fighters, and yeah, that's cool, but there's not much more than that. And I think that's where there's kind of a disconnect where we're all hoping for cutting edge technology where it really feels like we could be on a different planet, we've traveled into the future, something where we're innovating to a point where we don't even feel like we're on planet Earth anymore. And I think that's where there is this disconnect. There's no question that the biggest reason why a lot of guests have started to cancel their reservation is what Josh D'Amaro showcased at Destination D23. I think that this probably was a bit of a miss just because, we see the concept art for the Lightsaber Training. It looks so cool. You are deflecting, the lasers coming in with your lightsaber, and there's a huge backsplash, from the, blaster itself. But when we see it in action from Josh D'Amaro, it's like, I don't know about that. And the real reason I think that it's happening is because, it's more of a photo op rather than the actual experience itself. And we've talked about this before. Others have talked about it. I think it's a really good concept. Disney could have taken virtual reality here and really made it something extra special. That would have made us feel totally immersed. We've already got games where we basically use lightsabers to cut these boxes. It's really cool. I've seen it before. But this is not that. This is just kind of, we have some mist and we're gonna, block the light and that'll be it. And so I think that's something where Disney could really improve it and say, you know what, it's less about the photo op, it's more about the experience. And I think that's what they've really got to get back to here. Now, I think there's an opportunity here because if Disney was to expand this experience, let's say it's a 7-night experience and you are in a much, much larger building, right? It's not just the size of the Halcyon, it's a much larger building in real life, and there's so much more to do. I think there's more opportunities here, I do. But this is a test run for Disney. This is an opportunity for them to see what guests are interested in. And from the looks of it, there have been a lot of cancellations, and even some for the first month that it's open in March. I saw one just the other day for March, and I was like, I was blown away. It's like guests are canceling even for those early dates because it does look a bit underwhelming, and you can go on a real life Disney cruise, stay in a veranda, and pay less money for you and your entire family for 7 nights, or do a 2-night adventure on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. And I think that's where there's this disconnect and a difference. Now let's look at the itinerary itself and opportunities for Disney to continue to make improvements here. We get on board at 1 p.m. We have the launch pod, which is cool, to the Starcruiser, ship orientation, light refreshments, and then, some sabacc lessons. That sounds cool. Muster, captain's reception. That sounds interesting. And then dinner featuring live music. That sounds super cool. And then, of course, Outer Rim. That sounds great. Then you get the unexpected story moment. That's, I think, where the biggest highlight of this experience is going to be, these unexpected story moments. But it only lasts from 7:30 to 8. So it's a little short. Then you've got your bridge training for 45 minutes, and then you have your special atrium entertainment, and then the night ends. And then you've got your next day. And on this next day, you've got another story moment, which is great, but you're at Rise of the Resistance. So you basically transport to Batuu at 8:15 in the morning, and you go to Rise of the Resistance, and then you have another story moment where you do something else, right? But it's inside of Hollywood Studios. Then you have Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and then your lunch is actually at Docking Bay 7, right? This could be an opportunity. Instead of going to Batuu, let's do the story moment on board, and then we'll just, do something else on board and have lunch on board. I think that's what guests really want. They want to spend as much time as possible experiencing this amazing place, not going to a place they could have gone for a $100 ticket any other day. Then at 12:40 p.m., transport to the Starcruiser, lightsaber training. All these things sound cool. Model shipbuilding, I like that idea. Cocktails, sublight lounge, all sound great. Then the dinner on board. Another story moment, which, of course, and that sounds amazing. Then the finale, and then that's it. And this is, I think, this is where it definitely should be expanded for the price, or the price should come down. One of the two. If the price was much lower, then I can say, all right, this is a fun little thing to do. But we're talking about a serious, price. This is $6,000 to, go on the Starcruiser, play a little bit. I was really expecting a lot more, and I was hoping for a lot more. But now that we've seen some of the highlights from this experience in video, it has underwhelmed many of us as we're looking at this experience. And I'm hoping that Disney has the opportunity to kind of change things around in the future, but I have some predictions about what's going to happen. First off, I think that Disney is going to see that some guests are going to really enjoy it. The ones who are diehard fans who have had those reservations for a while are going to say, oh my gosh, it was fun, we went, we had a good time, and post some pictures, it'll be great. But there are going to be others who say, you know what, I think I'm just going to wait on this one. This one's just a little too pricey. Let's wait on it. And I think after a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year, possibly even 2 years, Disney will lower the price dramatically. I think that we are definitely going to see that. I think they're also going to try and increase some of the things to do on board, but even after a few years, I think we're going to see things start to slow down at the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. Fewer and fewer guests will make their way, and they'll continue to lower the price so that people continue to go. And it'll be great. We'll all have the opportunity to experience it. We'll go a little later, which is fine. I have no problem with that. And we'll experience it, and it'll be great. But my thought is that once we go, and the Star Wars diehard fans go, and I absolutely love Star Wars, I do. The idea is, are we going to want to go again? And that's where I think there's a disconnect, because it sounds fun, it does. But given all that we've seen, would you want to go again a second time or a third time? My thought on that, I'm not so sure about that. The Void VR experience, I went several times. I loved it. I'd go again if I could. But for this experience, I think I'd go. I think I'd enjoy it. I'd take some pictures. I'd eat some food. I'd have fun. And then I probably wouldn't go a second time. That's me. Maybe I'm alone. Do let me know in the comments. But I think there's an opportunity for Disney to say, you know what, let's create a repeatable experience where guests want to come back again and again. And this is where I'm going to say it, virtual reality could make a huge difference here. So my prediction, lower prices in the next 2 years, and probably an expanded things to do, and perhaps after many years, we'll see a changeover to how it looks. And I know it hasn't even opened yet. We're already talking about changing it, but I think there's an opportunity here for Disney to kind of, see what guests' feedback is, and then learn from it. And that's something Disney and many companies are very good at. They see, hey, we did this. It was a great idea. It has some winning attributes, no question, but we can make it even better in the future. And I think that's probably how they're going to approach this one as we hear some of the feedback later on. Those are a few of my thoughts about the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser and what's going to happen in the next few years and how Disney can improve. What do you think of my thoughts? Do you think it makes sense for Disney to change the pricing structure and the itinerary structure? Or do you think that, just as it is going to be super successful for years to come? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have a reservation to step on board the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, also let me know. Or if you canceled one, also let me know. Love to hear. Thanks so much for being a part of the magic with me today. Until next time, have a magical day.